All right, today's show is all about the GM position. Who is going to replace Bill Belichick? Well, we already know who did that at head coach. But as GM, and today we got 5 GM candidates that I cooked up, but I also took some inspiration from Ian Rappaport, who put out 4 names as well. And this is very important for New England. The Patriots need to absolutely nail the GM position, and I think it's arguably more important than nailing the head coach spot. I know you might look at me a little sideways and see the GM is more important than the head coach, and that's probably not the case in most scenarios, but just think about what was going on over the past 2 or 3 seasons in New England. There was no question about Bill Belichick, the coach. The only issue we had was the talent on the offensive side of the ball, and there needs to be a complete overhaul of this offense, starting from the O-line to the wide receivers to the quarterback. The only position that is actually safe is running back, because Ramondre Stevenson is good. But you need a lot of help on the O-line and literally almost every pass-catching position. So you need to nail this GM so they can nail the quarterback and wide receiver group for the Patriots, which is why I need you to subscribe. Don't miss a piece and beat of Patriots news here at Patriots Today. Hit that sub button and make sure you turn on notifications as well. So when we drop a video or go live, because we did go live for the Jerod Mayo hiring and Bill Belichick presser that when he left, hit that notification icon so you don't miss a thing. I do want to get something quickly out in the open here, and Adam Peters, who was no doubt my number 1 GM candidate, was hired by the Commanders on Friday morning. I think he would have been perfect in New England. He had Patriots ties. That's where he began his professional career inside the National Football League. I would have loved Adam Peters to be paired up with Jerod Mayo. I thought they would have done really good things in New England, but unfortunately Washington knew that too and snatched him up before anyone else could even really get their interview request off. All right, let's get to our first GM candidate, and that is former Patriots front office member Dave Ziegler, who is also the ex-GM for the Las Vegas Raiders. He was canned this past year alongside Josh McDaniels midseason, and he spent 9 years inside the Patriots front office. So this would be one that Kraft knows how the person acts, how he likes to work, and Ziegler would know the status quo in New England. Obviously, we're trying to break away from what some of Bill Belichick was doing because he did a good job in New England, no doubt about that, but it was kind of a change of scenery and they needed a change of times in Foxborough, and I don't know if bringing back someone who would probably run their organization the same exact way is really the best way to go about things. And I know some of you guys might go out there and say that, well, Ziegler, why would the Patriots want him? That would be a train wreck. He just got canned in Vegas. And I know he didn't do a great job, but one thing that he recognized and did right away is trade for Davante Adams. It was the first thing he did when he was hired as the GM in Las Vegas. And we know that the Patriots need a wide receiver. So you're telling me that if he was hired as the GM for the Patriots, could he do what he did in Vegas and trade for T. Higgins or sign for T. Higgins right away? It's something to keep your eye on for and something that could really happen. But who do you want to be the next Patriots GM? I have a guy on this list that we're going to show in just a bit that is probably my number 1 candidate. But I want to know, who do you want to be the next Patriots GM? Who's your number 1 person? Next on the list, Jon Robinson, the ex-GM for the Tennessee Titans. And I'll tell you what, this is an interesting name that we have to keep our eye on for because he did a good job in Tennessee. He was the GM for the Titans for 6 seasons, 16 to 22, before getting canned in Tennessee. And he was another person who started their career in the Patriots organization. He started as an area scout for New England in 2002. And the one thing that is very intriguing to me is the fact that he was fired by the Titans 1 year after earning the number 1 seed. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Titans were the number 1 seed, and 1 year later, Jon Robinson was fired. So he knows how to build a talented roster through the draft and free agency using limited resources because Tennessee isn't some perfect organization and a top destination. But one thing that I will rebuttal my own positive remarks on with Jon Robinson, is that he traded away A.J. Brown rather than paying him. And that was his downfall. Why would you trade away A.J. Brown? And now, I will say, it's a little bit of a train wreck for A.J. and the Eagles right now in Philly as he's scrubbing his social media with Philadelphia Eagles stuff, and he didn't practice the past couple of days. But A.J. Brown is an elite wide receiver. He's top 10 in the league, and to trade him away, that was a head-scratcher. I think you pay guys like A.J. Brown. Don't know why he ended up doing that. Third on our list, Mike Borgonzi, the assistant GM in Kansas City. And if you know any Patriots history, you know we've battled the Chiefs over the last decade or so, and that is a well-run organization, and I'd like a piece of that as well, if we're going to be honest. He was recently promoted to assistant GM in Kansas City after spending 15 seasons inside the Chiefs organization. So it would be quite the shocker and change for him to go from KC to New England. But like I mentioned, the Chiefs usually make a lot of smart moves. I say usually because there's a common theme that I'm running with in this GM video, and it's about the wide receiver position because we know that New England has really struggled to find elite talent at that group over the past 5 or 6 years without Tom Brady specifically, and they traded away Tyreek Hill instead of paying him, just like Jon Robinson traded away A.J. Brown instead of paying him. And I'm kind of in the market of having elite wide receivers in New England because they need them. So I don't want a GM that is not willing to pay top-tier money to elite wide receivers and trade them away. Those are the only negatives I have on Borgonzi and Jon Robinson at this point in time. 2 more names to get to, but hey, it's getting cold up in New England in 2024. And if you want to get some new gear for the new year, well, go to chatsports.com/Pats hats and grab some sick hats, whether it be a beanie to help you out in the cold, or whether it be a little flat brim, old school logo action like the one you see on my chest, which, by the way, is the best logo in all sports. Yeah, you heard me. Or maybe it's this flat brim right here. Either way, get a Patriots hat today at chatsports.com/Pats hats. That link will be in the description and comments on today's video. Trey Brown, an exec in Cincinnati, and he doesn't have a exact job title, just an executive for the Bengals, and this one to me is the most fascinating. He is only 38 years old, so he is similar in age to Jerod Mayo, and why that is important we'll get to in just a second. But he, once again, common theme, started in the Patriots organization in the scouting department in 2010 to 2012, and then he hopped over to the Philadelphia Eagles, which they've been a really good organization as well. From 2013 to 2018, he was a director of college scouting for Philadelphia, and then obviously he's been with Cincinnati over the last 3 or 4 years. But the reason why he's for being 38 is important is because him and Jerod Mayo, according to some reports, have a super strong relationship. They're similar in age. They came up together. They probably have a lot of similarities in, like, we're talking about Trey Brown, like, getting Mayo to New England, right? Like, it makes a lot of sense there. He has a great relationship with Jerod Mayo, which you want. You want your GM and head coach to be on the same page and know how we want to build out this roster and how we want to run things. So Trey Brown and Jerod Mayo would be a fantastic young GM head coach combination that you could find, like I feel like I'm a broken record, like the San Francisco 49ers when they hired Shanahan and John Lynch. They were relatively young for those positions, and look how that has worked out. I'd love to bring in 38-year-old Trey Brown. I'd love to have him go out with Jerod Mayo, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier. This is my number one guy. I think it is. I like what he's done in his career with New England, with Philadelphia, with Cincinnati. Obviously, they've built a really good roster. Everywhere Trey Brown goes, things that follow are good. That's good. You want that. Bring him to New England to pair him up with Jerod Mayo. Make sure you lock us in here at Patriots Today and subscribe, because outside of GM search, well, there's still NFL draft rumors we have to talk about as the Patriots currently hold the 3rd overall pick. Free agency rumors, those are all on the horizon. Hit that sub button right now, and whoever this next GM is, they're going to have a lot of tough decisions to make, and we'll break them all down for you here at Patriots Today. Last name on this list right now is Ian Cunningham, the assistant GM for the Chicago Bears. He was a finalist for that Washington Commanders job before it went to Adam Peters. And I think this is a fascinating one. Rappaport didn't mention Cunningham as someone the Patriots could have interest in, and I kind of went off the reservation with putting him on the list. But how fascinating would it be to bring in Cunningham to Foxborough? Why? Well, he's been the assistant GM over the past couple of years for Chicago with Ryan Poles. Well, the Bears hold the number 1 pick. Are they keeping Fields? Are they trading that number 1 pick? Are they drafting Caleb Williams? Although that's not set in stone, you'd think the person that knows what's going to happen the most outside of Ryan Poles himself, the GM in Chicago, is Ian Cunningham. And with the Patriots picking 3rd overall, they have to make a decision if they want Drake May or Caleb Williams to either trade up or stand pat and hope Washington trades up and Drake May falls you at 3 and the Bears take Marvin Harrison Jr. Cunningham would know what is happening in Chicago. Not saying he knows everything, but it would be very fascinating to see if New England could take him and get an inside track on what Chicago's thinking when it comes to the NFL draft, and that would only help them create a plan on how they want to attack this offseason. Going back to the draft, though, I do want to ask you this before we head out. Do you want the Patriots to trade up and draft either Drake May or Caleb Williams? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm split on it myself. If it's not that heavy of a package, I could be convinced into trading up for Caleb or Drake. One more name to quickly mention before we do get out of here, a little bonus name, if we will. Elliott Wolf, who is the current director of scouting in New England. And I'm kind of against just promoting from within, if I'm going to be honest. You did it already at head coach for Jerod Mayo. I don't think I want to do it for GM. I want to go outside the head coach search like we did there with Mayo. And I don't know if I want Elliott Wolf, but he is very established in this organization. He's been with us for a very long time. And if I did see or one potential person get promoted within, I think it would absolutely be Elliott Wolf, but I would rather go with any of the 5 names we listed prior on this video. All right, appreciate everyone staying with us throughout the entire show. Make sure you are subscribed because when the Patriots do hire a GM, we will let you know, and we'll also have you covered the latest draft rumors and free agency rumors this offseason. It's a big offseason, so lock us in here at Patriots Today.